Hey, what is going on, everybody? You already know it is Wednesday night. It is 9:30. It's prime time. My name is Paul Spencer. It's the 215 boys. Tonight we got a special show. Last week, my co-host Dave and I, we did the NFC East first team all offense. Tonight, we're going to flip the script and we're going to move to the other side of the ball. We're going to go NFC East first team all defense. But tonight, you know what? I got a thing coming up in the next 4 weeks, in the next 3 or 4 weeks here. All teams in the NFC East. Keep your enemies close. So I'm going to start with a good friend of mine. He's actually going to be joining the show. Dan Connor from the Big Blue Power Hour. Guys, he's going to come on right after this video. So now's the time. Get your popcorn. Get your hands on the keyboard. You already know. Comment when we come back. Let us know. We'll be back in 1 minute to get the show started. You already know it's 9:30. It's prime time. My name is Paul Spencer. I'm with a special guest tonight, good friend of mine from the Big Blue Power Hour on Out of the Box Sports Entertainment, Dan Connor. How are you, Dan?
What's up, Paul? What's going on, man?
What's going on? Glad to have you, man. A long time we haven't been on the show together, so glad to have you back. We always do the show, the our little pick'em show where we're coming up this, coming up pretty
I'm
soon.
in enemy territory.
You are in enemy territory, but you know what? You do have a blue color. I have a blue color, so we do have a little bit in common, Dan. Okay.
True, different shade of blue, but yeah,
different shade. But first, how you been, brother? How you been?
pretty good. Just get ready for training camp here, and in a few weeks here, and been watching the Giants on Hard Knocks, so it's been interesting.
Yeah, well, you know what, Dan? Before we get into the NFC East first team here, how are you seeing that Hard Knocks, and what does it mean to you? Because there's always that that heel when you're on there, too much exposure, letting out this, letting out. I would say a lot of bad juju gets placed when you're on one of those shows. How do you feel about it?
I mean, I like seeing what's going on behind the scenes. Seeing the decisions they made behind the scenes and knowing why they made certain decisions.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't mind it. The spotlight's going to be on them regardless. So I actually like it. I like seeing Dable and Shane and them, coordinate.
Mm-hmm.
And I like seeing it, to be honest.
I'll be honest with you. I haven't caught it yet because I've been so busy, with football season coming up here with my team this year. So been a little busy, but I definitely am going to check it out. I actually like watching it and staying off, not social media, of course, but I like staying off, not listening to people talk about it.
Yeah.
And I like to watch it one episode, next episode, because I can't stand. Yeah, I can't stand watching one episode, hearing it all, social media, this and that, and then so many everything's going on. I like watching it straight through, but.
That's what I do with a lot of series. That's I'm like, so that's what I did. I actually had to wait a whole week to watch it. I was like, because it's Tuesdays, I didn't know what the day was, so I went on Sunday. I'm like, it's not there, but it's not there. It's Mondays actually.
I know that's the way I am with some series too. We'll start watching a series, and all of a sudden it's like, oh damn, I got to wait a week. If it's on regular TV, then you got to wait 3 or 4 weeks because it's the timing or whatever. It pisses me off, but yeah. Dan, first, I want to ask you, going into this season here, you lost Saquon Barkley, of course.
Yeah.
How do you replace such a back like that? I mean, a generational back, injury prone, yes, no, but how do you replace him? Because we did the offense last week, Dan, and the first time in a long time where I didn't say a back from the New York Giants in my top 3.
Well, that's probably not going to be a feature set unless the rookie Tracy Jr. does well, and he was good as a running back his first year for Purdue.
Yeah.
So I could see him actually starting if he does well enough.
Mm-hmm.
But the backs are not going to be the feature. It's going to be their passing game probably.
Mr. Malik Neighbors?
Yeah, with Neighbors, with Theo Johnson, I think with Wendell Robinson and Slayton and Hodges, I think, and Hyatt, I think that's going to be more their future set. And Dable will be calling plays, so it's going to be different than Kafka calling plays.
Yeah,
So I think it'll be fine.
I think it's
It'll
going to
be
be.
different.
Yeah, I think it's going to be. It all depends on that name called Danny Jones. Daniel Jones.
And their offensive line, of course.
Yeah, and that was one thing when we did the show last week. I didn't have any. I had Jingleheimer Schmidt maybe third rated. In the position last week when I did out of four of them, but it was really hard for me even to put Evan Neal in there, honestly, because it's an unknown because what his potential is, Dan. We know what his potential is, but he hasn't reached that ceiling yet, and it's very hard.
He hasn't reached the ceiling, but I think that I want to see how the new coach. I can't place his name right now, but let's see if he can improve him, and that's the key. So we'll see.
Do you think it's going to be a O-line just put together again this year? I mean, you have a little help this year, of course, but still, I mean, do you think it's going to be a revolving door like last year?
I'd say at left guard and right tackle, possibly. If Andrew Thomas doesn't get hurt, we have a Luminar, he could play tackle. So if Neal can't play, he could play tackle. And they got some good depth this year, so we'll see what they could do.
How do you feel about Runyon?
I like Runyon.
I do too. I think he's a solid pick for you guys.
Better than what we had. I'd rather play him play next to Thomas.
Yeah.
But my guess is going to play him next to Neal because Runyon's experienced and he can help Neal. Having a good guard next to you helps.
I agree with that. I agree with that one too, 100%.
So we'll see how the offense goes.
Yeah.
It is what it is. They were winning with Barkley anyway, so it is what it is.
That's true. That's true. How do you feel about your backup though, just in case? Because Danny really doesn't play a full season, Dan. How do you feel about that backup situation?
Drew Lock, I have no idea.
That's the thing.
I have no idea. I don't know. I know he played well, like later in the season. He had that big win, but I really don't know.
Yeah, that win against the Eagles was pretty nice. Of course, we don't like the Eagles here. Of course, that was a nice night for him. But yeah, I don't know I really don't even know what he is, honestly. And he's young, but he's a journeyman. He's been in the league for not a long time, but
he would have to beat Jones out in camp and preseason, and with someone like Malik Neighbors, who changes the dynamic of our offense entirely.
Very much.
It's like just like when you guys got CeeDee Lamb, or when you get an impact receiver like that changes how you play.
Mm-hmm.
So, we'll see what happens.
Agree. Yeah, I can't wait to see. I mean, you always keep your enemies close. I love watching the Giants, how they're, especially for this year, how they're molded together. I mean, you have the weapons there, Hyatt, and you have Neighbors there too. You really don't have to run the ball. I mean, if you're bad O-line, go 4 or 5 wide if you have to, and just chip off the end. Get the ball out quick. Exactly, get it out there. And Danny Jones can. We know he fell a couple of times in previous years, but he's still a quarterback, Dan, that can get out of the pocket and get you some yards with his legs too.
Yep. So we'll see what happens. He's expected to be the starter, and that's not surprising to me. Mm-hmm. Let's see if he can get some help this year.
Now, is DeVito going to make the team real quick or no?
Third string.
He will make the team though, correct?
Yeah, third string.
Okay. All right. Well, Dan, let's jump into this here. NFC East first team. Dave and I did the offense last week, and like I said, I didn't have a lot of weapons, but I do want to get your thing really quick. Give me your top wide receivers in the division from last year, Dan, for this year, for the NFC East. Who do you have number one? I'll give you mine. I had Lamb number 1, A.J. Brown 2. I took a lot of flack for this on Twitter and social media. I had, even though he hasn't caught a ball in the NFL yet, I had Malik Neighbors number 3.
Well, if you're going to base it on talent, yes. Because he's better than anything the Giants have.
Mm-hmm.
And I think he's more talented than Devonta Smith.
I agree.
But I'm probably not going to do that. I'm going to say if Brown is like his what he was last year, he's the best receiver. Mm-hmm. But I would say Lamb is probably number 1 because he's the most consistent.
Mm-hmm.
And I would say Devonta Smith.
Okay. Do you have Terry McLaurin up there? Do you have Terry McLaurin up there?
I have McLaurin up there, but they didn't have a quarterback last year. But I have McLaurin up there. But I'm going to put McLaurin 3rd.
Okay. Understandable.
But Brown is really good.
He is, yeah.
And he's his normal self. I'm actually going to put him 3rd. I would say. I think the Eagles have 2 of the best receivers in the division, to be honest.
Yeah, I was up there. I had
McLaurin I'll put above Neighbors, because Neighbors hasn't played it down yet.
That's very true. I'm basing it, just like you said, based on what we've seen in college. I know what the kid is, and the thing too, Dan, we watch college all the time. We do a college football show. We talk about it once in a while, having you on, and we know Brian Thomas Jr. last year when he was at LSU with Mid-League Neighbors. He knows how to share the ball. He can be a 1. He can be a 2.
Well, he went to Washington, right?
Who's that?
Brian
Yeah,
Thomas.
exactly. Who's the one from LSU? The other wide receiver.
Brian Thomas Jr. He might be better than McLaurin.
Exactly.
He's extremely talented.
That's what I mean. He knows how to share the ball, being a 1A, 1B type receiver, and Jaden Daniels can get him the ball. But if Danny Jones can get him the ball, man, look out. This kid could definitely – I think he overplays Marvin Harrison Jr. this year if Danny Jones helps him out a little bit.
Well, of course, but they need, Jones needs help also. So we'll see how it goes.
Definitely. All right, well, Dan, let's jump into the NFC East. All defensive first team here. Now, Dan, this is kind of hard for me because of the fact we're the only team running a 4-3 this year, the Dallas Cowboys.
Yeah, we're running a 3-4 with Bowen.
Yeah, Eagles are running a 3-4. Washington's running a 3-4. We're running a 4-3 here, which makes sense to me because our linebackers are kind of depleted from this year.
It does make sense.
It does. Yeah, I looked at it, and I was trying to explain to a couple of my friends, like, why are we going 4-3? Well, you got to understand, our defensive line is strong. We're built up front. We're tough up front. Why not have 4 solid guys on both ends? Get to the QB. Linebackers are not big. They're fast. That makes a lot of sense to me. But, Dan, I'll go both ways with you. If we go to the 3-4 here, of course, we're going to go left defense in, right defense in, old school nose tackle in the middle. I got Micah Parsons on my left end. Do you agree with that?
Yeah, why not?
Okay. Now, in my situation, Dan, if they move to a 4-3, where do you put Micah Parsons? Do you put him at linebacker or do you keep him on the edge?
I'm probably going to put him at linebacker still.
Really?
But,
okay.
I would move him.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes I would put him on the edge.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Sometimes I would put him, at the outside linebacker.
Agree.
Well, it depends on what you're asking to do. And your outside linebacker is going to be blitzing a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
I agree with you. I think it's going to be a situational, attempt where he's going to be. He could be on the ball, and he could be off the ball because we know he can cover, sideline to sideline.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yep. So you got Micah Parsons on your left defensive end too, correct? Unanimous.
Yeah. Who else is going to be better than he is? But
that's what I mean.
Your outside linebackers.
Well, let's go nose tackle. I'll let you go first because I think we're going to disagree here, but I'm gonna let you go first with the 3-4 nose tackle. Who would you put?
Well, who's your nose tackle? I don't.
Well, I'm talking about NFC East all around first team.
Dexter Lawrence.
I agree with you 100%. I have Dexter Lawrence as my.
I'm not trying to be a homer, but
no, Dan, I agree with you. I have
pretty
Dexter.
Good, man.
I have Dexter Carter there too. I kind of have him split though. Okay, if you guys are running 3-4, I'm definitely going to have him as my starter there. But if I'm running a 4-3, I'm going to have him right next to Parsons because of the fact that body and Parsons' speed, I can just see it in my dreams.
I can run the twist.
Exactly, that stunt and twist all day long is going to give any offense to that left side nightmares, Dan. So, yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Who would you have next to him at a right tackle, right defense tackle?
Right defensive tackle?
Yeah. Who would you have there? We got Micah Parsons, Dexter Lawrence. So far, we agree on this 100%.
I'm going to say someone from the Eagles, probably.
All right. I'll give you my name, Jalen Carter.
Yeah, that's what I would do.
Or Jordan Davis.
I'm going to say Jalen Carter.
I agree. That's what I have on my.
Talented.
I think so too. But now this would be a 4-3, which you guys would be running, of course. Okay. But if you're running
3-4,
yeah, you guys are running a 3-4. Now, if I'm running a 4-3, exactly, I'm still going to go with Micah Parsons, Dexter Lawrence, Jalen Carter. Here's my 3-4 my 4-3. Okay, since you guys aren't running it, I'm going to go Giants again. I'm going to go Brian Burns on the edge.
Yeah. Yeah, he could do both. Like he's like he doesn't have the production of double-digit sacks or nothing, but he's a freak athlete and he's pretty dangerous as a pass rusher.
I agree. Now, who do you have if you're running your? We'll run a 4-3 here. Go my way first. Who would you put? Would you put Brian Burns at the other edge on my opposite of Micah Parsons?
Yes.
I put this on Twitter, Dan. A lot of people I don't understand this based on, I understand, coming to a new team. I get that as Burns, but a lot of people had Thibodeau there over Burns.
I don't know that I don't necessarily get. I guess because if we're talking a 4-3, because Thibodeau's probably more suited for a 4-3 defensive end position, but I think Burns is way more talented than he is.
I agree too. That would be my 4-3. Micah Parsons, Dexter
Quicker, he's
Lawrence.
faster, he's in better hands. So I'm putting Burns over Thibodeau if I had to pick between the two.
Okay, so if you're now we're flipping to your side here, going to 3-4. So you got Parsons, Dexter Lawrence. Who's playing the edge on the NFC East first team defense? Is it going? You going Brian Burns? I got to. If it's me, 3-4, I'm going Brian Burns too. Still,
Yeah, Brian Burns.
Brian Burns. Okay, all right. Who would be your 4 linebackers then, Dan?
Oh man,
this is where it gets tricky because the NFC East is not highlighted with linebackers, Dan. They're not. They are not.
Obviously, Parsons is one.
If we're playing the 3-4, yes, I agree with that. I wrote it down on the separate card here because I didn't want to confuse myself going 4-3 versus 3-4 because it wouldn't make sense to both of us. But on the 3-4, I got Parsons at linebacker. I'll give you another one. I got to go old school veteran, man, Bobby Wagner.
Yeah, Bobby Wagner because of his experience.
He's my signal caller. He's going to be my signal caller, the man in the middle. He's the mic.
Yeah, that makes sense to me. I mean, it's just because of his experience. He has everyone's lined up in the same position. I'm going to be for the other inside linebacker. I'm going to say Okereke.
Really? Why would you put him? Why would you put him in though?
He was one of the best inside linebackers in the division last year.
Okay.
But I'm going to put Wagner as a signal caller.
Yeah, I agree with that. He's been around numerous defense. He knows how to read people, and he's been that Legion of Boom leader. So I think it would be the best bet to have him in there. The Commander's got a solid veteran in there. What he has left in, I don't know. But I tell you what, he's a veteran that can make a presence with these young members of the Commanders. But who else would you put? Since we got Bobby Wagner, you got Okereke. Who else would you put? No, I'll put you one in there. I know he's not a true linebacker, but I got Bryce Huff from the Jets going to the Eagles.
Yes.
A lot of sacks last year. I think he's a solid linebacker. I got him in there too. Now, the other one I'll go for, do you think Thibodeau could play linebacker? Because the linebacker position is very scarce in the NFC East.
Who?
Thibodeau.
Yeah, he could play linebacker, but he'd be outside. That's
what I mean. I was so hesitant to put him in there, but I thought about it and I was like, you know what? I'm going to put him in there. Yeah, I got you. I'm going to put Thibodeau there in the linebacker spot outside.
Yeah, like I said, the AFC East doesn't have a lot of good linebackers. What about is Riddick still an Eagle?
No, he went to the Jets. Well, he might not even get signed. I don't even think he got signed yet because he got traded, but they didn't even sign yet. So I think he's attempting to sit out.
Wow, that's interesting.
Yeah, I don't even know if he is or not, but I don't know. Would you? Because to me, I mean, you look at linebackers, Dan. The linebacker is very scarce in the NFC East. I don't know who else to put in there. I mean, the Commanders, I couldn't really tell you. I wouldn't put any of them in there. The Eagles, you look at them; they're not.
Nakobe Dean. I mean, you have.
They got Nakobe, Devin White. I might have.
Jeremiah Trotter Jr. is a rookie.
Yeah, I might have put Devin White. I might have put him in there, but you know what? I still think Thibodeau gives me more of that athletic, freak type of nature guy. So I definitely put him in there.
And he has more experience.
Yes. So let's see. Well. So, do you agree with those 4 that I said, or do you want to flip yours around a little bit? I'm going Wagner, Bryce Huff, Thibodeau. Yeah, that's where I'm going to go. And I kind of agree with you with the Okereke situation because, like I said, it's very scarce, Dan. It really is.
It is very scarce.
So, any changes that you would make?
Now, Bobby Wagner's the best linebacker Washington has, even though he's older. I don't think so. But I think Okereke's up there. I think obviously Wagner, Parsons, and Thibodeau.
Okay. Yeah, I agree with you there. Now, this is where it gets kind of interesting to me because there's a lot of rookies could be starting this year, Dan. Where do you go in corners? I'll go Deron Bland number one. The way he played off of last year.
Yeah, I would say so. The Eagles really struggled at that position,
Mm-hmm.
the quarterback position.
Mm-hmm.
The Giants also struggled, but I thought that Banks had an okay year, but I wouldn't put him in the top 4.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see.
Would you put any of yours in the top 4? That's the question I want to ask you. That's what I wanted to ask you. I mean,
Deonte
Banks, maybe, but
maybe.
what is he, Dan? What is he, though? What is he? We don't know yet, do we?
I don't know. He's also playing a different defense. If we're talking talent-wise, I think he's good, but I don't know if I would put any of them really in the top 4.
I mean, based on what I've seen, he's in top 5. The way he played, I mean, he's a ball hawk. He's strong. You know, he can play physical 1-on-1. He could do that. But
I would say Slay.
Okay. This is what I had, Dan.
I'm not basing it on last year.
No, yeah, exactly. Last year was just a different story. You know, but I have Deron Bland number 1 as my one corner. This is where I have the name Darius Slay in my mind as right or left, 1A, 1B. I have Trayvon Diggs still there at 1-2. Still coming off the injury. I don't know what he is off injury, though, Dan. That's the problem.
I mean, if you're going to base it off his career, then I'd say yes.
Okay.
You know, but like I said, the Eagles have a lot of young corners.
And people that can play out of position, too. Cooper DeJean. You know?
DeJean, they got Quinion Mitchell. They have Gardner Johnson, even though he's a safety.
And I'm still kind of mad how bad Quinion Mitchell dropped, Dan. I really am. I'm so pissed off how far he dropped. You know, in that draft.
Happens.
How the best corner in the draft, basically, you know, coming out of college, and he just falls, and that's what the Eagles needed. You know what I mean? Like
it's always like that. Like
yes,
if you don't pick a player, then the Eagles take that player. Like, oh man, great.
And then on the opposite side of us, Dan, you know, we're sitting there. Yeah, on the opposite side of the Cowboys, we needed a true right tackle and a true center. We drafted out of position to play that position, you know. So it kind of fell to us because Jackson Power basically fell to us, Dan. And you know how high we were both on him. And then during that draft, when they passed on, I'm like, I think I broke my table that night during that live draft, Dan. I was how pissed off I was, you know. But yeah, how do you go with the centers? I mean, the safety here, Dan. I hate saying this, but I have 2 Eagles as my starting safeties.
Well, Gardner Johnson's got to be one of them.
He definitely is, and I got to read Blankenship.
That makes sense to me. It's not going to be Belton.
No,
it's not going to be the rookie for the Giants, Tyler Nubin.
What about Jalen Mills? What would you put Jalen Mills? I mean,
no, I like Jason Pinnock better than Mills.
Pinnock, okay.
Who played well for us, but our best safety is talent-wise probably Nubin and Belton.
Wow.
But I wouldn't put them in the top.
Right,
to be honest.
I agree.
Not in the NFC East.
Yeah, because the Cowboys can't. I mean, Donovan Wilson, he's a great hitter, but he's not a solid guy. Malik Hooker, you know, older guy, you know, he can't keep up with these wide receivers. He can, but he has to have that help on top, and I don't think he is. The Commanders, Jeremy Chin, maybe. I mean, he's a veteran. Maybe Jeremy Chin, but I got to go with the Eagles here. I got to go Blankenship. And my honorable mention, he hasn't played it down, which I like the rookies, is Cooper DeJean playing safety or corner.
Yeah, DeJean is very flexible. He's a rookie, right?
Yes. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
There's a lot of rookies. You have Andrew Phillips for us.
Mm-hmm.
You have DeJean, and didn't the Eagles take another one also?
Oh, well, they got Quentin Mitchell too, that corner as well.
Mitchell.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. You know, so you have you know, there are a couple of guys that could emerge as one of the better corners in the division.
And you know, that's crazy though. I mean, we talked about the draft, and the Eagles are set at corner. They're older with Bradbury and Slay, but you know, Quentin Mitchell, DeJean, and even CJ Johnson's really not that old, Dan. They have these guys locked up for the next 5 years. Even if they want to let Bradbury go, it's a plug and play situation.
And they've got Ringo from Georgia.
Kelly Ringo as well. You're right.
He's 22. Like they're not even over 23 years old. They're very young at the position.
And you know what the crazy thing? I was telling my buddy today. He's an Eagles fan. We were talking about it before the show about 6 o'clock when I was at the gym. We were talking. I was like, man, can you believe this Eagles secondary from linebacker to safety? If you get rid of Slay and Bradbury, you don't have a player over 25 years.
No, you don't. They're like not even 20. They're like 23 or younger.
Yeah, I mean, you got Nakobe Dean still in his third year. You got Jeremiah Trotter. If all these guys pan out, Dan, then your corners are rookies coming in. You guys are young as hell, but I don't know, Dan. Man, it's kind of crazy here. But yeah, I told Dave last week. I know it's not even preseason yet. OTAs haven't started here. Contracts haven't been signed. Anything on your front that you're worried about with the team here? My situation, I'll tell you first. 7 years ago, Zeke goes down to Cabo, says he's holding out. Dak goes down, not to Cabo, wearing a boot that says it's just a inflammatory precaution. I'm wearing a walking boot. He hasn't signed yet. He said CD's, going to camp with him, off camp, throwing the ball with the tight end, CD Lamb. Yeah. Everything will be fine. Dan, I don't know what Jerry Jones means by all in, and I will never know. So my contract's a lot different than yours. So is there anything on your Giants front that you're worried about before you get to OTAs, mandatories?
Contract-wise, no.
You guys are all set.
Contract-wise, everything is fine. There's no issue. No one's holding out.
Man, it must be nice.
I think Shane did a fine job, and as far as financially, I'm not even worried contract-wise. My concern is more the performance of position groups, the offensive line, the secondary. I think the linebackers will be fine because you have. Don't forget you have Isaiah Simmons.
Yeah.
As well. So I'd say the O-line, Daniel Jones, the secondary are probably my three top concerns. But contract-wise, there's no holdouts or nothing.
That must be nice going into camp and with no disregards to worrying about contracts, man. I mean,
if we still have Barkley, he'd probably be playing, messing around and holding out.
Sure. But it's better to go into camp with no distractions. And I hate saying it's you minus a player, a generational player. But for team-wise, continuity, scheme-wise, you're going in there with, this is our team. This is our 90-man roster right now. We're going down to 53. This is what we're going. This is the brothers we're going into battle with, regardless of, well, you know what? He's a generational player. He's going to hold out. We don't know what we are with him or without him. So I think it's better to go into camp knowing what you have before.
And another guy that mentioned is Azeez Ojulari.
Yeah, exactly.
If he stays healthy, he's one of the better outside linebackers in the division.
How do you think he's healthy? How do you think he's going to fit in next to McFadden?
Fine. Well, I think it'll be all right, but it's going to be Burns and Thibodeau on the outside. McFadden and Okirike.
Okay.
Those are four linebackers for the Giants, probably.
I agree. I mean,
you have Simmons and then you have Ojulari on the edge, which they'll rotate them. They'll rotate Ojulari, Burns, and Thibodeau.
Okay.
And Isaiah Simmons on the outside, all four of them.
Yeah, see, I think, honestly, I'll be honest with you. I think you guys got the linebacking core in the NFC East. I really do.
And think about it. You could have Okirike, Simmons, Burns, and Thibodeau on the field at the same time for certain situational pass rushing situations.
Right. I agree. I haven't seen a lot on him. DJ Davidson. How do you feel about him?
I like DJ Davidson. I think he's good depth. I thought he played well last year. But he's going to be like, that's what they're going to do. It's going to be Phillips, Davidson, Ryder Anderson, Lloyd. They have Roche, Nunez Roche. As well, Jordan Riley, who they drafted last year. So we'll see who's like the main guy. But I think they'll have Lawrence and then they'll rotate guys. But I like DJ Davidson. I don't know if he's the best tackle. Jordan Phillips isn't bad.
Okay. Yeah, I think he's going to be a depth guy. I kind of like how he, I haven't seen a lot of him, based on your situation there, but I think he's a good depth rotation for you, what you have there. And I think it's a solid core of your linebackers. I like your linebackers. The secondary
in a long time.
Yeah, the secondary I'm a little skeptical on, Dan. I mean, I know what Deontay Banks is, of course, but I don't know what Cordell Flott is. I don't know yet.
Cordell Flott, I think, is more slot, but you have Trey Hawkins III. You have Deontay Banks. You have Flott. You have McLeod, who played well. Darnay Holmes, Andrew Phillips, Aaron Robinson. those guys will probably all make the roster.
Now, correct me if I'm wrong. Wasn't Jalen Mills a corner for a while too?
He might have been, but
With
as
the
far
Eagles,
as
I thought he
know,
was the Eagles
Jalen
corner
Mills
for a
is
while.
more of a depth guy,
Yeah, that's
and
what I
he's
think.
30.
And here's my question to you. I kind of put this on Twitter for the Giants fans, and they're like, who cares? It's not football related, but I just put it as a joke out there. When he played for the Eagles, he dyed his hair a certain color green, of course. He goes to the Patriots, he dyes it blue. Has he, or at Hard Knocks yet, has he dyed his hair a certain color yet?
I haven't seen his hair yet.
Okay, because I know he drives that green Lamborghini when he was in Philadelphia, the Incredible Hulk Lamborghini or whatever the hell it was.
Yeah, I haven't really seen Jalen Mills on Hard Knocks yet.
Okay, good. Well, maybe he should stay off there then.
Maybe he said, but he's one of our oldest safeties.
Yes, he's the veteran in the room basically. Yeah,
Pinnock is 25, Belton's 24, Newman's 23, Javarius Owens is 25, guy that drafted last year, and they have two are Elijah Riley and Mills. So Mills, I think, will be the depth guy.
Okay.
But I don't know what to expect for Javarius Owens or Newman. Pinnock, it could be Pinnock and Newman or Belton and Newman.
Okay.
The safeties.
Okay.
Pinnock's pretty solid, I think.
Dan, I want to ask you real quick. Since you're with the enemy here, I want to ask you something with my team, the Dallas Cowboys. I want to take it back to the offense side of the ball really quick here. Dan, who do you sign first? I mean, what scares me right now is Dallas is in a situation.
Who are the guys you need to sign?
Well, let me put it this way. We'll talk about Dak Prescott first. Let me talk about him real quick. Trevor Lawrence has signed the biggest annual contract in NFL history as a quarterback, annual-wise.
I know.
Dak is so much better than him. Jerry Jones is in a situation where he has to pay this
Dak
guy.
is 30 now.
That's what I mean. But if he's gonna demand it, it's gonna be a almost $60 million contract based on annual salary.
Of course.
CeeDee Lamb is going to get the same bag. I mean, he wants Justin Jefferson money, and
he'll get it.
He will. But who do you sign first, Dan?
Lamb.
You sign. I agree. Why do you sign Lamb first?
Because
Dak has to play this year. If he gets paid either way.
He gets paid either way because, well, first of all, your cap's going up next year.
Mm-hmm.
And without Lamb, you don't have that dynamic playmaker.
True. Very true.
If you don't sign Lamb, but if you don't sign Lamb, then who's your weapon?
Nobody. Brandon Cooks. Tolbert.
It's like, take Neighbors away. Like Neighbors hasn't done anything, but take McLaurin away. Take your best guy away. He's your best. Sure. He's probably your best offensive player. I'm not going to say Dak has played bad, but he's your CeeDee Lamb's your difference maker.
I agree with that. See, I was telling even Dave last week we were talking about it. He said you got to sign Dak first. I said I completely disagree because regardless of what he does this year, he balls out. He's going to get the bag next year. We know that. You have to roll the dice on this one, Dan. You have to go ahead and sign CeeDee Lamb. He's a generational talent, 1A wide receiver totally in the NFL. You sign him now to a 5-year deal, mostly guaranteed, right below Justin Jefferson money, right below him. Then you let Dak play out this year because if you can't cut him, you can't trade him, you can't franchise him. He's guaranteed $59 million cap this year as it's hitting us at a dead cap of $66 million. Yeah. But here's the thing. You roll the dice. You know what? Hey, you get to the playoffs. You have a bad year. Contract's up. We don't think you're the right answer. We go a different way. A lot cheaper. Rebuild, yes. But if he balls out, Dan, good God. Can you imagine the 5 Brinks trucks showing up to Dak Prescott's house if he balls out next year?
Yeah.
So you do what you have to take the chance. I'm going to roll the dice as a betting man. I'm just going to roll the dice with CeeDee Lamb and say, Dak, here's the deal. Bank on yourself. So many quarterbacks are banking on themselves player-wise. Bank on yourself. Show me what you do. I know what the gentleman's handshake, Dan, between you and I is totally fine, but we're talking Jerry Jones handshake. That doesn't mean shit. That doesn't mean anything. That Jerry Jones handshake, I'm going to make you the highest paid player in NFL history for the next 2 or 3 years, so nobody's going to top you. Handshake. If I'm Dak, I'm saying, yeah, I've heard that before with you, Jerry. So I don't know what to do. I have to sign Lamb first because next year you sign Lamb this year, Dak balls out. You got 2 big contracts. One of the top 3 quarterbacks in the NFL, Dak. and you got a number one Micah Parsons need to be signed too.
Yeah.
So I don't know where to go, Dan. I don't know where to go.
I don't know.
So Dan, real quick, where do you have the division falling next year based on before OTAs here? Who is your top team winning division?
The Eagles.
Eagles, what kind of record do you think they have?
12-5.
12-5. Okay.
6.
Wow, really? Okay. Who do you have 2?
Probably Dallas.
What's their record?
10-7.
Okay. No, this is where I wanted to ask you. Number 3.
I have no idea. Could be us. Could be Washington.
What would make you number 3 over Washington?
Neighbors.
Okay.
I don't know. I'll say the Giants, but
Okay.
The Daniels could be way better than Jones. Also, It's tough. It's really tough to say, to be honest.
Exactly, I agree. Adam, checking in. What's going on, Adam? Adam's one of the hosts of the Atomic Drop every Saturday night at 10 p.m. You can check him out if you're a WWE fan. Check that out. The Atomic Drop podcast on Outlaw Sports Entertainment, Saturday, 10 p.m. What's going on, Adam? Adam's an Eagles fan. He just wanted to hear about the primetime teams, the Giants and the Cowboys, so he wanted to check it out. But yeah, I agree with you. I think the Eagles are not. I don't want to say cream of the crop of the division, Dan. They still have. They don't have the holes to fill, but they have the shoes to fill. Let's put it that way. You know what I mean? They have the roster. On paper, yes. I hate saying on paper because Dallas on paper every year top 3 team, both sides of the ball. This is going to surprise you. I think it all falls down to Jaden Daniels and Cliff Kingsbury. The identity of the unknown. We don't know what Jaden Daniels is. We've seen him in college.
No idea.
Kingsbury, we know he loves playing with quarterbacks with a spread here, and it's all going to fall down to him. I'm going to put Dallas 2, and I'm going to have this year, Dan. I'm going to give a bold prediction here. I think every team in this year's division goes over 500 in the NFC East.
Maybe.
Because I think a lot of teams split. I don't think there is a genuine, sweep. I think it's going to be a gentleman's sweep, basically. 1-1 here. I think you guys are going to split with every team. I think the Eagles do it. I think we do it. Washington does as well. That's 4 losses right there. So I think it's going to be everybody's going to be. I think everybody's going to be a 9-8, Dan, and I think you guys finish. Man, it really depends on Daniel Jones and the offensive line. And then with Washington, it feels that Jaden Daniels, what is he? They have the weapons, Dan. Austin Eckler, Brian Thomas, they and McCaffrey for that wide receiver too. They have the weapons, but it all falls down to rookie play. Not with you guys though. But yeah. But Dan, before we get out of here, man, we're going to keep it a little bit short tonight. Dan, what do you have going on with your podcasting, brother?
Just Big Blue Power Hour this week. I'm not sure what time Friday though.
Okay, when's that on? It's Friday, correct?
Friday, but I haven't. I don't know the time yet.
All right, there we go. There it is right there, the Big Blue Power. Let's go, Big Blue. Big Blue Wrecking Crew. There it is with Evan and Dan. Check them out. Make sure you check them out also on Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, everywhere. We'll keep you updated as well. And, guys, coming up in the next 3 to 4 weeks here, we broke down the offense and defense this week. Dave and I did the offense last week. We're doing the defense here with Dan and I. In the next 3 weeks, we're going to bring you something a little bit different. Here in the NFC East, we have all shows covered. We have an Eagles show. We have a Commander show. Jan does the Giants show. I do the Cowboys show here at the network. So I came up with a little thing with the Cowboys here. And, we are friends, but we are enemies as well. So come up in the next 3 weeks. You got to check this out. The 215 Boys on Outlaw Sports Entertainment. I cloned this. Keep your enemies close. On July 17th, I have Joe Sullivan joining us from the Sully Squad. Of course, that's the Eagles, talk. But July 24th, I have Steve Loftman, the host of the Commander's Gridiron. And July 30th, I'm going to have Dan Connor back in here so we can talk more about this rivalry between Dallas and the Giants. So, Dan, you got to keep your enemies close, right?
Yep.
I mean, I want to know more about your team than, anybody else out there. And a lot of people, Dan, do you ever get those people say, I can't believe you watch the Cowboys. I can't believe you watch the Eagles. I can't believe you watch the Commanders.
Well, they're playing each other usually.
Oh, okay. Well, I have to watch it because I want to know what the X and O's is, of course, because I don't get to watch all of it, honestly. So I want to know what you guys are talking about, what you see, because when you hear a person that covers them 100% and you hear their explanation, their thoughts, their opinions, about their team, it goes a long way because it opens up your eyes to see what you see versus what they see. And 99%, they're pretty much right. You know what I mean?
Yep.
Yeah. So, Dan, before we get out of here, man, anything you want to tell us out there? What's going on? Anything you got coming up? Anything, about life? But first, I want to say happy belated 4th of July, man. I didn't get to talk to you during 4th of July.
Yeah.
I know you guys are going through a heat
My
wave.
birthday's Friday.
I know that, Dan. I can't wait to out of the box might put something together for your birthday.
Yeah, it's my birthday.
Yeah, somebody put on Out of the Box Sports Entertainment when I turned 53 last month. Somebody put on there, congratulations, the old senior citizen of the network. I wonder who did that. Yeah, okay. I woke up and I was like, oh, senior citizen. Okay, I gotcha. All right, Dan, you ready to get out of here, man?
Yep.
All right, guys. Once again, you can check Dan Connor. Thank you for joining us, Dan, on Big Blue Power Hour every Friday night, 8 p.m. Usually, Dan, correct? Somewhere in there?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
Please, make sure you follow us on Out of the Box Sports Entertainment, Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, Twitter for all the upcoming shows, live shows always. And guys, if you want to start your own show, please reach out to myself, Dan, Ken, Steve, Joe, one of the hosts on the network here. We're on Twitter, Facebook. Find us, reach out to us. We'll get you started here for the new shows. We do have new shows coming up pretty soon. One of the shows has already been announced every Monday night coming soon. Myself will be doing a pregame show. Whoever's playing regardless, I'll be doing a show every Monday night, 7:30 for about 20 minutes just to keep you, injury updates, what's going on with the teams, even some betting lines, of course. And, of course, coming up pretty soon, you already know, it's the NFL Weekly Pick'em Show with myself and Dan Thursday night, 6 p.m. I'm 2-0 so far, Dan. I'm 2-0. So, this year, Dan, I think we're going to do spreads this year, aren't we?
Yeah.
We're doing spreads this year. Okay, we're doing spreads this year. So, yep. And also coming back in about another 3 weeks here, myself and Bill Furman, College Football Frenzy Season 3. Can't wait for that one. Got some great guests lined up. We have 3 head coaches from Division I football going to be joining us this year. We have 2 players. I will not announce them yet. Still going through the negotiations, talking to them. So hopefully we get them on 100%. And also the last but not least, my show, the Golden Dome Podcast, the 6th-ranked Notre Dame Fighting Irish this year. Can't wait for that one. Saturday mornings, 11 a.m. So, Dan, I am so tired. I am heated up with this heat wave. It's still like 85 degrees here, brother.
Yep.
So, Dan, I'm ready to get out of here. You as well?
Yep.
Guys, thank you for tuning in. It's the 215 Boys. My name is Paul Spencer, and thank you to my special guest, Dan Connor, for Big Blue Power Hour joining us. Make sure you follow us Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, Twitter, and TikTok and Instagram as well. So, Dan, thank you for joining them 215 Boys.
Yep, anytime.
Thank you, brother. And again, we'll see you next Wednesday, 9:30 p.m. with our special guest, Joe Sullivan from the Sully Squad. Until then, have a great night.